Hi everyone, my name's Steve Kahn. I'm a Principal Engineer with GHD in Auckland, and on behalf of Water New Zealand, welcome to this introduction to the new edition of the Water New Zealand II Manual. The manual's been prepared based on user needs of the membership of Water New Zealand. The previous version was compiled back in 1996, so certainly time for an update. We're pleased to be able to bring into the manual the latest information available to the industry coming out of New Zealand, the best practice in New Zealand, certainly in Australia, and insights into very good practice in North America. So all that's available now for the Water New Zealand membership to use and have access to. Really need to acknowledge also the contribution made by the working group in putting the manual together, and that working group consisted of 7 people from different councils and water companies throughout New Zealand, and really to make sure that that manual was a user-defined needs and content. So it was great to have those people as part of that. The manual's compiled in 2 volumes. The first volume is sort of more high-level information, background theory, that sort of stuff that's more probably suited to the audience of the asset manager. Paralleling Volume 1 is Volume 2, which has a lot more detail and on the specifics and technical information relating to some of the processes. The chapter structure of the 2 volumes coincides, so there's 16 chapters in each of Volume 1 and Volume 2, but certainly the Volume 1 more intended for the asset manager, Volume 2 more intended for the actual practitioner, the person that's doing a lot of the analysis and the like. Just want to draw your attention to a couple of key sections that are in the manual. Certainly the manual starts off with introductory information more about the legislative and regulatory framework that should be considered when you're thinking about an II program in New Zealand, and certainly the asset management perspective that can be part of that. There's a good practice methodology that is really defined quite well and to a good level of detail in the manual. And certainly the experience has been from throughout the world that if you're following that process and practice, then you're more likely to get good outcomes. One of the really more interesting sections, I think, in the document is the section about predictability of II reduction. So that is, if you do this sort of work in terms of rehabilitation, you are likely to get this sort of level of II reduction. So we've taken the very best project outcomes from around the world and drawn some conclusions on that to inform that section. So that information has, it's very reliable, and it is sort of proven by a lot of agencies around the world. There's a very comprehensive section on house lateral II reduction, on the understanding that half of the removable II that gets into a system is coming from the private network part of the system. And without addressing that, that you're only dealing with half the problem. There's some other sections about the assessment methodology, and also a pretty good section on costing databases to help you do your planning for that. The manual concludes with some case studies, 5 of which are from New Zealand councils and a couple from overseas examples. The manual's now available, downloadable, free of charge to Water New Zealand membership from the Water New Zealand website. And there's a more in-depth discussion like this also posted on YouTube. So thanks for watching the introduction, and please feel free to now use the manual.